Including the fact that the causes of narcolepsy as well as cataplexy are still growing, another important part of narcolepsy that is growing is the treatment. So the treatment begins with testing done at a sleep disorder center. This can include behavioral treatment as well as medicinal treatment. So with behavioral treatment, it includes a sufficient good night quality sleep and then roughly 15 to 20-minute nap in the afternoon. So as I mentioned, it does not matter how much an individual may sleep throughout the night, but studies have shown that this can help individuals who are suffering from narcolepsy. So as you can see right here, this plays into all of the rules: the amount of sleep, the sleep quality, sleep disturbances, and the percentage of time in bed asleep. These are just some examples that can actually help the individual's sleep cycles, specifically to sleep not as much throughout the day. Another part of behavioral treatment would include working with psychologists in order to change behavioral patterns through therapy. So psychologists are actually one of the people who study and do research on disorders such as narcolepsy the most. Along with behavioral treatment, there is also pharmacology, which is where doctors are able to make wakefulness-promoting medications. So an example of this would be modafinil, which reduces the uptake of dopamine, and this right here would be an example of the structural formula of that. Some other drugs will block the reuptake as well as increase the release of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, things like that. Another prominent example would be sodium oxybate, which is an example right here of the structural formula. It is a highly sedative liquid that is given at bedtime, and then roughly two and a half to 4 hours later than that, it produces a very deep non-REM sleep by activating receptors that will cause more sleeping-induced neurons. So with this, it is important to note that some patients may become irritable, aggressive, nervous, or develop obesity as well as sexual problems. Many also will experience withdrawal due to the fact that the dosage schedules are frequently changing due to the fact that something may work for one individual as opposed to another, so it's constantly changing when these individuals will have to take these medications. It is also important to note that despite the fact that these individuals are receiving treatment, those treated still have lingering daytime sleepiness. And as I had mentioned a multitude of different times, it is still a relatively new topic. So more research is being done in order to help these individuals get through their days better. Due to the fact that those treated still do have their lingering sleepiness, it often causes a lot of negative societal impacts, including danger. So studies have shown that there's about a 1.5 increase in mortality for those who have narcolepsy, according to Brain Basics. This is due to the fact that these individuals may be falling asleep at the wheel or falling asleep doing other things that can not only cause them harm, but the individuals around them harm. And other important societal impacts would be the fact that they are straining to stay awake during social activities. They may hallucinate during conversations, and they may experience cataplexy at awkward times. So this leads to a lot of people misunderstanding, and due to the fact that a lot of people don't understand what narcolepsy is, many will go undiagnosed for roughly 13 or more years. During this time period, they'll be called lazy, and then they'll lose opportunities as well as people around them, as they don't even understand what they're going through, so they cannot talk about it with other people to have them understand as well. With the negative impacts, I would say there are roughly no positive influences or impacts for these individuals. These individuals are constantly going through days that are exhausting for them, and they have no control relatively over when they are trying to sleep. As I mentioned at the previous of this presentation, the really only positive that we can find with this is the fact that they will never lose sleep over something they are stressing about, despite the fact that they may want to, but this is the only positive thing that I could find for these individuals. In conclusion, we have covered a multitude of different things throughout this presentation, including the historical revelations as well as figures behind narcolepsy, how the brain and the pathways involved will cause the individual to go through not only cataplexy, but the brief and repetitive sleep attacks, as well as other symptoms such as sleep paralysis and hallucinations. We have talked about the importance of sleep with narcolepsy and how REM sleep plays a significant role in these individuals' day, as well as some treatment that can be done in order to help these individuals. So more research is needed in order to figure out the correlation between all of these things and what can be done in order to help these individuals. Therefore, it is evident that narcolepsy is a serious neurological disorder. These individuals are constantly going through exhausting days, and this can be depicted in the quote right here. A nap each day is nice, but if you have a chronic illness that makes you nap all day, it's not. I want my day back. So often, as I had mentioned, individuals will glamorize having a sleep disorder. However, it can just be as exhausting as any other physical setback or mental setback that an individual may go through. This is something that we should be taking seriously and should have more research done in order to help these individuals get through their day and not be so sleepy. Thank you, and here are my references.